what gets harder, right, is when you start growing and you have to do that for lots more people.
Yes.
Talk about how do you scale that? Like how have you kind of like been working on that as you went from one to four and the future of maybe up to 10 and beyond?
Yeah. I think again it comes back to the processes. You have to have system and processes that are easily replicable without you there. And so,
Yeah.
knowing the procedures, what happens when the washer's overflowing because somebody overfilled it. Like what is that? Making sure that your standard operating procedures are running and everything is in place, and they know how to use it. You know,
Yeah.
but I think that's what makes it replicable. It's kind of like a cookie cutter. Anybody can make a batch of cookies, but if they all look the same, how do you do that? You have to use the same mechanism to get it all the way through. I think you have to do the same thing in laundry. Your buildings are going to look a little different. The layouts are going to be a little bit different. But once you have those systems and processes in place, it can easily replicate itself. And so I think that's been the
Yeah.
success for us for growing from going from one to four pretty quickly, because we had those in place. And again, shout out to nursing, because I wouldn't have known that had I not had the previous experience of being in corporate
Yeah.
healthcare and being in management and knowing how to train. You got, 1,900 nurses that work in this hospital. How do you make sure they treat every patient the same way? Some of it comes down to character, but a lot of it is just your systems and your standards. You have to have
Yeah.
higher standards that they meet, and they know what those expectations and standards are. So,
Yeah, that's the big thing. Like
yeah.
talking about those expectations. It's one thing to just say, "Well, we have high standards," but don't just throw those in the employee manual and hope that they're going to read them. You have to talk about that and live that every single day.
Yes. I tell my employees, I will never ask you to do something that I won't do myself. So,
Yeah.
like during training, I scrub the toilet and I mop the floors and I clean the hair out through the seals in the washers. Like they know how to scrub the soap dish on the top because they know my standard because I do it.
Yeah.
And so when you give that example, it's a lot easier for them to accept that challenge because hey, my leader is doing this, I will follow suit. And so, yeah, I'm not above the toilet.
None of us are.
No,
None of us are. Well, none of us should be.
yeah,
Let's say that.
that's right.
None of us should be above that. Yeah.
That's right.